so much appreciate you coming tonight, and take heed what he says. We're all here because we're excited about what we do. You are all winners. No matter who gets the big cup, as Andy says, everyone who is has a vision and is working towards achieving that in their company, you are definitely a winner. So now we are going to have the pleasure of meeting all of these companies. And what we've decided to do is have their coach or a judge that they have had introduce them to you. So I would like to have AFK Gamer Lounge come on this side of the stage, up those stairs, and Chris Stadelman is one of our judges.
Thank you, Alice. Come on up. You have to get used to being on stage. The first thing I want to say is how much I appreciate Alice and the team who have just made this such a great experience for all of us. I can't tell you how much I have learned in this process. And some of it I learned from these guys here. Welcome Kevin Witt and Tyler Peckham. AFK Lounge, and it's Gamer Lounge. It's a gamer's paradise. You've got the little description of the business on the back of the brochure, so I'm not going to read it to you. What I want you to know about these guys is what they taught me is really about the generation gap. They came in with a dream to build a place for gamers to get together where they were going to actually pay money to play games, you know, video games. And we kind of said collectively, really? People would pay for that? They said, sure, and they proved themselves right and us wrong. They really advanced their dream. They taught us a lot about their market and their generation and how much gamers really need to socialize. Because they're sitting at home by themselves playing games. And by the way, when they get together, they'll pay money for food and drinks and just to be out with other people who enjoy the same thing they did. So we learned a lot from these two. They grew a lot. They took coaching well. They accepted our over-the-hill advice. They made use of what they could, and they taught us a lot in the process. So I want to say congratulations, and you have 1 minute to tell us about your experience.
Thank you. Our experience was overall, we had a good time, got a lot of great feedback from the judges, and really worked on getting a very hard to communicate topic down to a very concise explanation, especially to people who aren't familiar with gaming culture. And as I'm looking out over the audience, I noticed that when she was talking about the generation gap in video games and socializing, this side of the room was kind of smiling, nodding, and this side was cracking up, especially those guys. I think we have some gamers over here. And it's great to be here. Thank you all for coming out, and I want you to look forward to the day when we will have video game lounges where people of all ages will come together, grab a beer, and play some video games.
Did you experience a little excitement, a little passion? That's what we love. I would like to have Jeff Cuddley come up, please, and introduce the Bio Ready team. Bio Ready.
Thanks, Alice. Bio Ready. Scott Marzano, Gavin McCain, Kira Jonas Peterson, Dien Vo, Sherry Michelle Basham. Okay, so now I'm one of those technical entrepreneurs that came to this valley on the back of a motorcycle started, my trip started in Italy. And I came to Silicon Valley in the early 80s to you know, take over the world of technology. Well, actually, it was really to be a high-tech Marco Polo, and I certainly did that through entrepreneurship. I met Alice this past spring after spending a few years as a mentor for the Clean Tech Open and other accelerators. I saw the opportunity to work with the Startup Cup, to work with not necessarily the leading edge of technology, but nonetheless entrepreneurs that want to seize the day, find an opportunity, and turn it into a viable, scalable business model. So in my experience with this team here, I'm happy to say I saw a lot of pivoting, a term that we like to use in business model speak, which essentially is what an entrepreneur often does when they have an idea, they go out and they test their assumptions around their idea, and along the way they find out, well, maybe that idea doesn't quite fit. And I think this team here did an excellent job of recognizing that they had a great idea, and they pivoted along the way, decided that they needed some technology as well as just a great idea. So I think that they're also developing some technology that will enable their vision, which is to essentially automate the supply chain for laboratories, biolaboratories around the world. Well, maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but at least in the Northern California area. So I'd like to pass this microphone over to the speaker here, W. Scott, and share a few words about BioRed.
Well, thanks, Jeff. I definitely agree with what Jeff said. It's been definitely a roller coaster ride as we've gone through this process. And where we started at the beginning of this competition to where we are now, it's been a whole evolution of our model and our company as we've moved along. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is we're a biotechnology service company that's looking at trying to improve the efficiency within laboratory management. So being able to implement a smart technology, bring in your cell phones, that your iPhones and so forth into the laboratory, use those for inventory management. Because how laboratories currently manage their stocks is through pencil and paper ordering. It's very old-fashioned, very inefficient, takes a long time. So we're looking to modify that process and greatly lower the overhead cost of scientific research.
Thanks, guys. All right, let's give a hand to them.
Caked with Love, Ryan Flanagan and Amber Yang. They came in with a big dream and showed a lot of passion for this dream. Originally, they want to open a storefront, had a big idea. Right away, they took the advice from their coaches and the judges, and they went out and found customers. They actually went out and started earning revenue. They became so sophisticated that by the last round, they even brought prototypes, cakes for the judges. So Dan, I learned a lot from you both too about how much you knew about your market and how creative you were in finding ways to get in there and get information from people, like giving away cakes to neighbors and so forth. So congratulations, and you can tell us a little bit about your experience in your business.
Thank you very much. So we came into Startup Cup with absolutely no idea how to run a business, how to start a business. All we had was an idea. And we knew we wanted to start a cake store, and that was about it. So the judges in the first round told us, hey, you're not going to have the money to start a cake store off the ground. That's going to take hundreds of thousands of dollars to get it launched. And we realized that, rethought our idea, and through all the rest of the sessions, we were able to kind of scale it back so that we're now actually launching out of our own home as a cottage food operation. So there was a lot of help from the judges, a lot of help from the coaches, and I highly recommend Startup Cup to any of you guys out in the audience who are thinking of starting a business, because the information that they've shared with us is invaluable, and without Startup Cup, we probably wouldn't be starting our own company. So thank you guys again.
Speak to my experience with Startup Cup. It's just been a very good experience for me. I really enjoyed it. You know, typically when you think of startups, you think of an egocentric individuals or group of individuals that have an idea, and it's kind of my way or the highways they're thinking. And the neat thing about this group is they've been not only open to the input, the feedback, and sometimes criticism, but they've been able to filter it and actually take the best parts of it, but take on all of it and really kind of incubate the ideas. And you just saw round after round of improvements based on the fact that they really listened and they really got it. The business maturity that I've seen from these individuals has just been absolutely amazing. So in my opinion, they're all winners just for going through this process and taking that feedback. So really impressed by that. Tonight I have the pleasure of introducing the genius behind Coupon Genius. And when I first heard about this concept was in a judge's wrap-up meeting, and they were all very impressed with the concept and the individual and just the depth of knowledge that the individual had and the grasp for what the concept was. When I first heard about Coupon Genius, I thought about my grandmother, and she used to sit on Sunday mornings and she'd get to the paper before my grandfather, and she'd go through and she had this little folder with several sections, and she would cut out the coupons, and she'd go to several different stores, and I don't think I ever really quite got it. But when I had the chance to meet with Paula and discuss her concept, there wasn't really a whole lot of feedback I could give her. She could spend probably 45 minutes teaching any of us how to save hundreds of dollars at just Target alone, let alone all of the money that she could save families and individuals from all the other retail outlets. So there wasn't a whole lot that we were going to be able to teach her there, so we really had to kind of pick our battles in the feedback that we gave her. And for me, I think she's got an outstanding concept, and I'd like for her to explain a little bit about it. Paula Aguillon.
Thank you. How's everybody doing tonight? Give me some energy. Thank you. So my name is Paula Aguilar, and my company is called Coupon Genius. Coupon Genius is designed to teach simple yet powerful coupon techniques. These techniques will easily reduce your everyday household expenses up to 90%, get you free groceries, and the store to pay you to shop. The store will actually pay you money to shop. Seriously. Over there, I have a display, and you can see it more clearly. Overall, I give you the tools to shop like a genius in every grocery and national store. By the end of my service, people will know how to save thousands of dollars over a course of a year. According to Wall Street Journal, coupon clipping pays an average of $86 per hour because of how much you save. Also, I'm so appreciative of this Startup Cup because it has helped me so much, because it has helped me to identify different revenue streams and also reach my customers. And I also want to thank my brother Jonathan Aguilar for helping me in this journey, and my mom for supporting me too. And I also want to thank my teacher Heidi Diamond, because she was the one that actually gave me like a push to enter this competition, because before I was like a little bit afraid, but not anymore. So thank you, Heidi. Thank you.
We have Justin Wright, Ross Holman, and Brian Knott. Has anybody been to a business plan competition and at the very end of it, you're like, wow, what an awesome idea. It'd be terrific if they took these ideas and brought them to the market. I think that's one of the best advantages at Startup Cup, is that it's not just you have an idea, but you bring it to fruition. Many business models involve the business having to go out and getting capital, starting money of some sort. And the Startup Cup, the whole focus is on generating sales. If people are willing to part with their hard-earned money, that's your market research. You know, maybe if you've made sales, you've got a good idea. Cranium Shield. Has anybody had an X-ray? And you know, they give you that, or a CT scan, or a mammogram, or and they give you that big shield, and it stops at your neck. Now, it seems to me the most important part of you is where the shield stops. These gentlemen have figured that out. Do you want to go ahead and describe Cranium Shield?
Thank you, Dan. I'm Justin Wright from the Cranium Shield team, and we produce radiation protection devices for the heads of doctors and patients exposed to ionizing radiation from medical imaging devices. As Dan was saying, I'm sure a lot of you have received an X-ray or a CT scan and maybe given a lead chest shield to protect yourself, but nothing for your head. Well, there are some pretty important organs in your head, like your brain and your eyes, and that's the product that we're creating. Over the past few months, we have had our prototypes successfully tested and proven at Stanford Hospital. We have received market validation from dental offices around the Bay Area, and we have implemented the guidance from the Startup Cup to more effectively approach our market. We would like to thank all the judges again for all the guidance they have provided, as it has been very valuable, and I highly recommend that anyone who is considering joining the Startup Cup do so. Thank you.
So Sam, tell me, why did you start your own business? You kidding? Take directions and work with somebody else? The truth is that you need conviction to succeed. It's a tough world. It's a tough business. And you also need passion. This is no Sam. Farah Chadwick of Startup Para has passion. She has conviction. But she also has a thirst for information and knowledge. There's a theme here, there's a common thread if you've been listening. And it's the ability to pivot, it's the ability to set your ego aside, and it's the desire to seek knowledge. And I met Farah actually coming in last May when she was looking for this as a possible experience. And it's been a pleasure talking with other people who have touched her throughout this process. They all tell me how much she has taken to heart those pieces of wisdom that they have been able to share with her. So if Farah Chadwick would talk for a moment about her experience and the process.
Thank you, Bruce. Startup Para was started because I wanted to re-enter the market, the workforce. After having 2 kids, it was incredibly difficult to re-enter, and I wasn't alone. Being in Silicon Valley, I found that to be a big challenge. I knew that there had to be somehow, some way we could connect these educated, smart, professional women somewhere. Somewhere had to be startups, small businesses, even medium-sized businesses. But there was a problem. They needed to become current, have training. So Startup Para was an obvious solution because this was a problem for me until I found a startup who took me on as a volunteer, and that's where I learned about the world of startups. Startup Para was started last year by me that helps job seekers re-enter the workforce. Also, we help startups who are looking for Class A talent at good value so they can save money and hire these amazing, talented women. We have over 50 to 75 resumes, multiple highly degreed, intelligent, smart, dedicated women who are looking for flexible or part-time position. We connect them to startups or other companies in Silicon Valley. Again, we also provide customized training to help them re-enter this marketplace. So it's been a wonderful experience. Being part of the Startup Cup has taught me so much. I've learned so much through the judges, and pivoting is definitely one of the themes. I learned what segments are, channels, partners, resources, value proposition. How about that? And so I've learned so much. So any of you who are interested in starting a business, how to take it from idea to a real business, I would recommend getting connected with Startup Cup. Thank you so much.
So we have Nancy McCarrigan and Jennifer Bacon. I met Alice a number of years ago, and 2 years ago she asked me to volunteer and help her in organizing and participating in Startup Cup here in Silicon Valley, and I was very excited to do that. We actually met when we were in separate businesses inside of the NASA incubator. So at a very early stage, we were on the other side of the coin here. So it's been great for me to have an opportunity to help mentor and participate in bringing other startups along. So, would you ladies like to talk about your business?
So I'm just going to start by saying I met Alice in City Hall this spring, and she convinced me that within 48 hours I could turn in a good application for the Startup Cup. And I started learning the very next day, because it was not cutting and pasting my business plan into a set of questions, but I actually had to really rethink and see how it is that we could organize ourselves differently. So Jennifer and I started Tangerine Plus. It was based on experience we'd had for 7 or more years in the renewable energy industry, and it's providing products to customers. Now, our customers are schools, they're businesses, they're government entities that really want to broadcast their commitment to the environment, and they want to do it with accountability. So we take the real production data, the real live production data from these renewable energy sites, and we integrate them into kiosk displays that takes that data and turns it into benefits, it turns it into information that the viewer can easily relate to. And so we had this idea, we knew there was a market, we knew there was a need, and all of a sudden it's like, now we need to build a business. And so thankfully, Alice convinced me that I could turn the application in. And we have learned a lot. Our coaches let us see how many different ways, our coaching really resulted in how many different ways you can use a business model, what it means. Because of the experience we had with Startup Cup, we submitted an application to the biggest industry exhibition in the United States and got free startup space there in October, where we were able to meet with more than 100 of our customers and really get good information and good validation. And it's nice talking to some of the partners we met there and having them talk about their pain points exactly the way that we had visualized it. Like, we really don't want to do this, it's not our core business, let somebody else take it from us. So our goal is to make that data and that information accessible to people. Right now, kiosk displays, maybe later. But getting back to the business model, what we're able to do today is to take our model into discussions about our market strategy, about our pricing, discussions about our software architecture and our future opportunities, and really make that a living, viable tool that we can use in managing our business. So it's been really rewarding, and thank you to Jeff, our coach, who helped me through the difficult days of trying to figure out what I was really doing around this business model stuff, and turning it into something that's been a great value to us. Thank you.
And we need a little drama. Stand out here.
Please. Justin Wright, Lamb, Ross, and Brian of Cranium Shield.
You want to pick out the trophy right over there and let the whole You get and congratulations.
The second place winner is Kate with Love, Ryan Flanagan and Amber Yang.
Guyan, you want to take one more picture?
In the middle.
Thank you, Alice. The first place winner is Tangerine.